Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This is going to be What If Luffy had the DNA of Strong Pirates, Part 2. Now, people have been asking me about what if Luffy was Acnologia. That's usually a little bit hard to do because I know nothing about Acnologia. Because Fairy Tail was a few years ago from me watching it. So, Fairy Tail was like the first anime I watched. And I started getting anime in like 5th or 6th grade. So, I forgot a lot of it because I'm in high school by now. But yeah, so I know nothing about Fairy Tail, like besides like the basic character knowledge. Like in Logia, we know little to nothing about him besides like basic abilities and his backstory. That's really it. The basics are pretty useful, but some stuff about it is going to be a little more complicated. So yeah, now basically we'll have to stop basically with Luffy getting Zoro and Kuina on his crew. Well, Luffy's 15, so that would make Zoro. I have a list right here. Luffy's 4 years older than Zoro, so Luffy's 15. Zoro is 11. And that'd make Kuina 12. Because I aged up Zoro or Kuina, but I'm assuming that they're just canonically 1 year older, 1 year younger. So, let's say that's true. That would make, I forgot it. So Zoro's 1 year younger than Kuina in this one. Let's say, we got either age young Kuina. I'll say that. Age young Kuina. But yeah, so Queen and Zoro are like on Luffy's temporary crew, and Luffy, Kuina, and Zoro just arrived at they just arrived at Kokoyashi Village, and they saved Belmir from dying by distracting the fishermen pirates who lured Arlong, so Arlong did not kill Belmir. With that, they have the 3-day party at Kokoyashi Village, and Luffy kind of just parades around. At the end of the 3 days, Yashi would actually ask if anyone in the village has navigation skills. Now, this leads up to some villagers pointing out that Nami has decent navigation, Belmir used to be a marine, so there's some decent navigation knowledge. And Luffy finds out that, well, he's better than navigation. Both of them, well, him and Belmir are kind of like rivaling in navigation, actually. That, Luffy would go to a ship and hope to throw a giant bag of berries to her. When he catches it, really let's see how much money this is. And Luffy then says, that right there is 10 million berries. You can give that to your kids if you come with me tonight to navigate. I don't want you gone. I want to be on for that much time. I'm going to come back to the east soon, in like 2 years tops. Belmir just smiled, saying, all I want is to provide for my kids. Drops the bag in Inochigo's hands, and asks Gen to take care of them. Gen is a little unsure, saying, Are you sure you can trust them? They're pirates. That's when Belmir then says, they saved our village. We owe them this much. And then Nami would yell, we threw them a 3-day party, that should be payment enough. And Belmir points out that they didn't eat any of our food. They didn't eat any of it. We also Luffy just chuckles, saying, well, I'm just not eating. Luffy just is kind of claims he doesn't need that much food. Eating too much food kind of clogs up his strength. As Luffy's more metallic body, it can get clogged up with just fat, so he doesn't eat that much. So it kind of would make movement harder if his inorganic muscles, or like muscles, bones, that stuff would get clogged up, or just be harder to move and can't use as much strength. On the upside, all it really does is just make him a little more bullet and stab resistant. So Luffy kind of just sticks to working out because he doesn't keep as much fat. His body type is very similar to like pre-time skip Zoro. That's kind of his body type. But yeah. Now that's when Queen also points out that she's like a keeper figure, and she's also just trying to train herself to survive without as much food. And Zoro says he does whatever Queen does. So yeah. So with that, Belmir chuckles, saying, I owe them this much, her saving our village, and my daughters, and myself. She leaves with them after saying goodbye, and Luffy points out that Belmir, being a former Marine, should at least hide her face, or change her appearance somewhat. Belmir thinking of her daughters. Wait, actually, sorry to pause real quick. Alright, so basically, let's go. Belmir would dye her hair a mixture of blue and orange, and it's kind of the color that blue and orange can get. I think this is my unperfect color. It's their site. Not sponsored, not wanting just to show the picture and not give them credit. This is the color that they show. This is their stock here. So yeah. So she has like a mixture of blue and orange, which is just a very light orange. So yeah, Belmir dyed her hair that color, and her hair is mainly on one side. Chuckles, was also kind of like their gunman. Well, Luffy Luffy and them now stop at the next village Luffy has in mind. Syrup Village. He stops by there and he stops there. Bellamy would ask why they're stopping here. And Luffy reveals that, well, he was friends with a few pirates, and one of the pirates he was friends with said he had a son here. That's probably a little bit young in the Zoro. So he'd be the youngest in the crew. So, hard to think of Usopp's age. Okay, at this point, Usopp would be like 9. Yeah, so Luffy goes in the village and walks through it, and he looks for a kid looks like Yasopp. The first thing he sees is that basically Usopp sees Usopp with the hair, and already tell that's Yasopp. Also, his facial features look a little bit like Yasopp, and Luffy did see a picture of Yasopp's last girlfriend, which would be Usopp's mother, and it's all a very long nose. Luffy walked up behind Usopp, knelt down, and grabbed his head, saying, "Alright, let's go, kid." Walking out of the village, everyone's saying, "What are you doing with Usopp? What are you doing?" Everyone ran down, even some of the butlers from Kaya's family's butlers came down, questioning what he was doing. And Luffy says, "This is a mission from Usopp's dad, and take Usopp out to sea." Everyone froze while he's saying that Yasopp still kind of cared about Usopp, as this was kind of the truth. One of the things that Luffy remembers Yasopp telling him is that if Luffy ever decides to become a pirate, take Usopp with him. His son deserves to know why he left, or experience the reason. And Luffy would then tell Usopp, "Your dad wants you to experience the joy he feels out at sea, but he told me to take you with me." Usopp began crying, saying, I'll go if you take me to my dad." Luffy then laughed, saying, "If you want me to take you to your dad right now, we all die. Hey, where your dad is, we die in a matter of seconds." Luffy says, "Wait, really? Where is he?" Luffy then laughs, saying, "Your dad's one of the strongest pirates out. Or your dad's one of the strongest pirates around. So, basically my goal is to get stronger than him, and train you up to be able to meet him." So he gets away from Luffy's grab, from Luffy's strength, or grab, and he then says, "Alright, then let's go." Luffy actually asks Usopp, "Does he have any abilities?" Usopp pulls out a slingshot, and is actually pretty good with it. So, Luffy says that'll work, and they leave. So yeah. Now, as he goes to the ship with Usopp, Kaya runs down and hugs Usopp, saying goodbye. And Usopp actually building up a lot of courage now, kisses Kaya, blushes, and runs onto the ship. Kaya almost fainted, but Luffy's able to catch her, and then say he'll bring Usopp back in one piece. Kaya smiles, and Luffy then jumps onto a ship, and everyone can acknowledge that Luffy is officially a superhuman, because Luffy's ship is a few 10 feet off the ground. Like, at most, it'd be like 20 feet off the ground, or actually no, a lot higher. But he jumps up, and that height of jumping is not human. And Luffy didn't reveal but he does tell Belmir, Zoro, Kuina, and Usopp later that a lot of his body is more or less just nuts and bolts. Like, his skeletal structure is kind of bionic, whilst just his skeletal structure is bionic. The rest of his body is organic. So yeah, and more of his joints are more like just springs or pistons. Because he charges up enough force in his punches, he's able to channel it, and boom, like a piston, shoots out, and it releases explosive power. Remember Ideo from the Dressrosa arc? If Luffy were to just train a little bit more, his punches are like that scale. But yeah. Now, also, when Luffy meets Frankie, he will be getting some indefinite upgrades. Not indefinite, but most definite upgrades. Now, as they continue sailing, the next stop is the Bratier. They stop by there, and they're going there because Luffy heard it was the best cuisine in the East Blue. So this was 11. Sanji just now meeting Zeph, as I think about it, or doesn't even know Zeph yet. But let's say that Sanji has only been with Zeph for a few months. So Luffy would board the ship, and as he boards it, everyone acknowledges the pirate crew. Now, Belmir actually orders the food, and Sanji prefers to serve them because of a beautiful woman. That being Belmir and Kuina. Now, Sanji's sneakily hitting on Kuina and Belmir, and Zoro kind of developing a little bit of a small crush on Kuina. Not a big one, but a small one. The response is she punched Sanji square in the face as hard as he can. At this point, Zoro's strength towers over Sanji. Because he's been training with Luffy, Kuina, Belmir, Or Usopp is just not getting some strength up. But yeah, so Zoro punches Sanji in the face as hard as possible and sends him flying to a wall. And Zoro, not wanting to reveal his crush on Kuina, then yells, saying, "Don't hit on my sister." Sanji then says, I'll kill you for that. Even to Zoro, trying to kick him in the face, but Zoro's actually able to block Sanji's kick, and begins to beating down Sanji ruthlessly, until Kuina pulls him off. Now Sanji gets up to go to kick Zoro in the face, but suddenly, everyone realizes that, well, someone's body blocked the blow, that being Luffy. Now Sanji then looks at Luffy, realizing his foot hurts like hell. Sanji jumps back, holding his foot, screaming and crying. As Zeph can acknowledge, Luffy wasn't even phased by Sanji. And Zeph's able to tell, Luffy's kind of a kid, not a grown man. That's when Zeph picked up Sanji, saying, "Most likely his body broke your foot." Luffy chuckles, saying, "No, not quite broken. I was able to make my body not as hard as it usually is. So most likely just sprained or dislocated." Zeph chuckles, saying, "Save that amount of control over your body." Luffy chuckles, saying, "More than you know." Now, Sanji's foot was dislocated, or some part of his body was, but he's able to put it back in place. And him and Sanji being getting along really well, as Luffy's able to blend in personalities pretty damn well. And Luffy again chuckles, saying, "Bellamy, your ear's kind of hot." So Luffy and Sanji are able to go along through that. And now Luffy would start talking to Zeph, and Zeph can already tell that Luffy's the main fighter on his crew and the captain, despite not being the adult on the crew. Luffy does say that most likely he's strongest man in the East Blue. Which Zeph laughs, saying, "Oh really, you want to put that to the test?" As Luffy agrees, saying, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Zeph runs at him, going for a kick, as Luffy's able to block it, and Luffy jumps on the air, yelling cannon kick. He kicks at Zeph, and Zeph tries to block this peg leg, but Luffy's sheer shockwave destroys his peg leg, and sends Zeph flying almost completely through the brassiere. But Luffy is able to catch him pretty quickly. And Zeph then chuckles, saying, "That was a shockwave. You stop your kick halfway." Luffy would nod, saying, "Yeah, I prefer not going all out." Zeph nods, saying, "That's wise." Now, I'm going to go back to Luffy's words. Luffy said he's most likely the strongest man in the East Blue, which is not wrong. Because, 1, Nagari, yes, he has conquerors, and observation, that's really all he has on Luffy. Maybe ornament haki, but then again, well, Luffy knows what haki is, just doesn't know the name of it. All he knows is that it's going to hurt like hell when he gets hit. Luffy just off instincts actually able to dodge a lot of attacks that involve haki. His body is also just very different, because, well, Luffy, how to say this? I'm going to pause to get my sentence together. So, Luffy adapted to Nagari a lot, so that'd be really hard for Nagari to actually land a hit. So that'd be very different, because Nagari would end up losing pretty badly. Mostly due to the fact that Luffy adapted to him, so it would be very different. So it's just through adapting, Nagari cannot beat Luffy. Alright, now, basically, Luffy is able to build Zeph a new peg leg, which is actually in the shape of a leg, not just a peg. So, a wooden leg. But after that, Luffy leaves, and does say that when he comes back to the East, Sanji is going to be a member of his crew. Sanji chuckles, saying then he'll be ready. And Sanji's last words would be, says he'll be ready for his big brother to come get him. Luffy would chuckle, and as he sails away, Luffy gets thinking, and then says that he wants a new order on his crew. And Luffy then says, "Once you're part of the crew, you're part of my family." So, we're going to be assigning familial roles to the crew. This one, Bellamy says, I call Big Mom, because she already is a mom. Luffy then says, Big brother suits me. Kuina would say sister, and Zoro says brother, and then this instantly makes Usopp the baby. But they keep on sailing until they get to Logtown. When they get to Logtown, Bellamy then says that she'll guard the ship, as everyone on the crew has been training under Luffy in his many martial arts. But Luffy mainly taught Usopp judo and wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. So there's easily anything to hold people in place without needing insane strength. Well, it would be easier, but certain holds Usopp doesn't need strength, just be able just to choke them out, or at least just to hold them in place, but doesn't need insane strength. And then we would have, let's say, like, Belmere. She would learn, I assume she already knows some martial arts from, I guess, the Marines. So she would already know Line, Ninpo, and Bakon. That's what she knows already. But Luffy's vast knowledge on it is able to enhance Belmere's understanding of it. And then Zoro and Kuina, they have swordsmanship and Ninpo. But Luffy, he has like 16 different martial arts in his brain. Yeah, so they wander around Logtown, some people able to buy his goggles, and Daddy mentions the little girl is actually a little too young to even go in the store by herself, so Usopp just buys his goggles, assuming they're out at this time. Now, Zoro would buy Hibishiri and Kitetsu, he's had an idea of three swords out in his brain. Zoro wants to make his own sword style. And Luffy, he just buys just the shirt you see right here. He buys that shirt. So yeah, Belmere discards the ship, and if you guys just approach it and say it's a nice ship, think Belmere's a woman, well, just know Belmere's a woman, they can overpower her, but it leads to them being beaten into the pavement. So yeah, now we're gonna go to basically as they're leaving. The Marines approach the ship and guns at them, saying that they should surrender quietly. And one of them recognises Belmere, and Belmere then says she owes this pirate her life and her village's life, so she's paying her debt. Now eventually, the Marines start to open fire as Smoker approaches, being a little bit younger, saying that since they're kids, anyone from a Marine, he'll offer them the respect of giving them a few minutes to surrender. Suddenly, Smoker will then pass out, so he realizes that his season staff is missing, but then realizes that Luffy's above him with Smoker's staff in his hand, and hits Smoker over the head with it insanely fast. So yeah, just after that, he just knocked out Smoker. And Luffy then says that him and Usopp could handle this. Zoro and Kuina, get your luggage on the ship. Now, Luffy just tells Usopp that he'll just disarm the guys with guns. Usopp just needs to at least choke some of them out. This is what Usopp's skill and strength. So Usopp listens to these words. Luffy's able to disarm everyone with guns, just using 2 knives he had actually bought. They're basic kitchen knives. He's able to disarm those guys with knives, and it will choke out second in command, being some random Marine. Well, actually, the first in command, Smoker's, I think, would be a little too young to be the actual captain. At this point, Smoker's like 10 years older than Luffy, so he's like he's like 25. So yeah, and this one, he's like 10 years older than Luffy. Let me check. Smoker's 11 years older than Luffy, so at this point, he's 26. I do think this might be a little too young to be like a Marine captain or commander. So, yeah. Now, Luffy just kind of, we'll knock out the first in command. Smoker probably being second or third in command. Well, yeah, he's able to knock out most of the crew. Usopp takes down a few by himself. They go back onto the boat, and they set sail. And Belmere says that she's officially a pirate, so she might as well be a permanent member on the crew. But she does want to see Nami and Ojiko in those 2 years like Luffy promised, which Luffy says, and he plans on coming back to the East Blue in those 2 years. So Belmere, if she wants to go out at sea, she can, but she would have to at least see her family once. Belmere agrees to this, and yeah. Now, as they go over Rich Mountain, Luffy begins hearing something, a voice, very clearly actually. Luffy has heard voices all around his life, but he's able to sense it out as animals. But his voice is loud and powerful, unlike the quiet and normal animals. As even the king of the forest had a very quiet voice, even though the king of the coast had a quiet voice. His voice is loud, booming, and kind of sad. And Luffy then looks seeing a rock, and that's when we realize the voice is coming from that, as Belmere then says that there's a rock that Luffy or Queen of Shard tried to cut it to pieces, or break it. Luffy then laughs, saying that's not a rock, that's an animal. Belmere then recognized it as a, well, let's say, pretty sure Laboon's like a, I'll find the name of Laboon. Laboon is an island whale. And then Belmere recognized it as an island whale. And Luffy, just trying to think of something really fast, he's able to think of something immediately. Some DNA of Jinbei kicked in, and Luffy begins getting some of the knowledge that Jinbei had stored in his head. Because someone I'm pretty sure the comment had actually compared Luffy to Cell, so it's kind of what's going like. Luffy would get some decent knowledge of a certain move in Fisherman Karate, trained Luffy to jump in the water, and is able to twist it to some extent, which he meant to force, pushing the boon back. That the ship's able to pass through without hitting the boon. But Luffy just has to get to the top of the ship before he drowns, which is actually no problem. So as he gets to the top of the, his head out of the water, he's able to climb onto the ship. So climbs on, Bummer, what that is, trying to just pretend that she doesn't know it's Fisherman Karate. And Luffy shockingly says he doesn't know what the hell that was. So yeah. Now Crocus came out because he did feel the force of the boon being pushed back, and Belmere and Crocus being talking to each other, the more mature ones. And Crocus kind of thinks that she's the captain, but he then looks at Luffy, seeing that everyone with Zoro, Kuina, Usopp, they're all just like amazed by him, and can recognize that Luffy is actually the captain. Belmere is most likely second in command, which is true. Belmere's the base captain. Actually, let me check how old Belmere is. Okay, so currently Belmere is exactly 30 years old. I thought she's like at least 28, 29, but she's 30. But Luffy's 15, so Belmere is exactly 15 years older than Luffy. Well, Luffy's the oldest on the crew, technically. Well, actually, so Luffy is mainly genetically over 40 years old, but he started gaining a body at around 30. Actually, no, actually more like around like he's actually like 6, probably on Garp's age actually. This is more on Garp's age. It didn't like chronologically, but after like 40 years, he started getting a body, and then he didn't get a proper full body. Well, he wasn't a fetus after a few decades. Luffy's aging is very, very complicated. We know he's the oldest on the crew. A little bit younger than Brook, but yeah. But screw that. Now, back to Luffy. So Crocus begins talking to Luffy now, realizing he's the captain, and asks Luffy how do they move Laboon. Luffy explains he's able to use the water to his advantage and use the force from it to push Laboon away. So Crocus is able to immediately recognize this description as Fisherman Karate and tell that to Luffy. Luffy says, "Oh, so that's what that was." And Crocus kind of thinks something a little familiar about Luffy. This one, Luffy did have some of Garp's DNA, but that won't really do too much. He got some DNA from Garp just to mainly make him not some genetic monster, just to at least give him some blood relative, besides the pirates he has. He doesn't get anything from Garp because he got a lot of DNA. Like the other pirates he got. Like he got blood from them. All Garp gave like a little DNA sample. So like he got tons of blood from everyone else, or at least just some inspiration for power. Like enough DNA to affect him. So yeah, technically, Luffy's only blood relative that he's close with is Garp. And Dragon, technically, because Dragon's going to be more like his brother in this one. I mean, Dragon raised him like a father for like 6 years, but genetically, genetically, Dragon's more like his brother. Well, younger brother, technically, but yeah. But back to them talking to Crocus. As they talk to Crocus, Luffy will ask what kind of creature Laboon is, and if Laboon can speak. Crocus thinks that that's ridiculous, so Luffy says, well then what was that booming voice he heard from Laboon? Crocus recognized this as voice of all things, and told Luffy that Luffy will learn when he's older. Luffy demanded an explanation now, but Crocus denied it, saying that he'll explain it later. Now, Luffy's kind of upset, but just said that alright then, he'll go back to Crocus and ask later in life. Crocus chuckled saying, well, I won't keep you from your adventure. Keep sailing. Luffy nodded, and they continued sailing. Being a little confused. Let's pause real quick. Alright, so basically, Luffy would go to. Sorry, in case my dog barking. My grandpa was talking to my brother. He's a baby, like a baby. My dog thinks my dog's talking to him. I'm gonna go fix my dog, whatever he's doing, and make it stop. Okay, I need to make sure my headphones are connected. Here they are. Okay. Now, Luffy, I'm pretty sure I've said Takemichi once by accident. If I did, I'm sorry, but I mean Luffy. But Luffy and the rest of the Strats, they sail around a bit, just going past a few islands, till they hit Little Garden. Little Garden, just kind of looking at their maps just to figure out where they want to go next. As they think about where they want to go next, Bellamy points out an island on one of the extra maps that he had gotten from Logtown. He stole them from some Marines. Like he found a Marine base and stole some maps. And they were just of the east, south, north, and west blue. The Grand Line, but east, north, south, west, and east. Luffy just threw out the east one because he already has one. Because he's gonna just dumped it in the ocean, then just threw the bottle on top of it. So yeah. But Luffy looks at a map of the South Blue and points out an island distance that is marked Karate Island. Luffy says that they should go there. Then Bellamy points out another island and that is marked as some random island name, and then there's a dot on it that says XXX Gym. And there's a note that says is Elite Martial Art Dojo. And Bellamy says that, oh yeah, she showed that place. Members of CP9 have gone there. Not CP9, members of Cypher Poles have gone there. But they will mainly all go to Karate Island. And Luffy says which one should they go to, and Bellamy insists they go to XXX Gym because Cypher Poles do go there too as well, but mainly they insist on one island other than some other one. So yeah. Next stop would be, let's say, West Blue. They sail there, and as they sail there, it takes them it takes them mainly 3 months. But I'm gonna go over what happened on Little Garden. In Little Garden, no one had gotten sick, and they do meet Dory and Bragi. And Bellamy does tell them that they thought their crew would be dead by now, or at least arrested. Bellamy does say, well, all of them are alive. It's just 2 of them were tricked into thinking you were dead, and they were made workers of government. So yeah. Now, Bragi have a new mission, but it's not enough to fight to free their friends. So they'll be in training. Not fighting, just training with each other. And they were able to make their own wooden weapons with the help of Luffy, who actually is a pretty good shipwright. Same with Usopp, who's a decent handyman. Now, they spend the next 3-4 months sailing around and getting stronger. Zoro got stronger and actually getting more adept to his three-sword style. Squina was able to buy some different blades. And these blades were not like, they weren't ranked blades, but she did name them Susanoo. She named one of them Susanoo, and you guys can make up a name for the other one. So yeah, so she named one of them Susanoo. You guys can name, I have 2 names for them, Susanoo and Amaterasu. That's what she named the blade. So yeah, one of them the blade of thunder, the other one the blade of the sun. That's what she named them both, Susanoo and Amaterasu. But you guys can choose names. You can choose the name of Amaterasu because it's a temporary name. If you guys like Amaterasu, then sure. But comment a name on the video, whatever one I see has the most likes. Boom. That's one that I'll put up a poll for Amaterasu with that sword name. But yeah, so they get to XXX Gym. When they get there, Luffy jumps off the boat and he lands. He helps up Usopp because Usopp can't do it himself. Quina would help up Zoro because he can get there all the way. But so far the most superhuman would be Luffy, Bellamy, and Quina. Quina is just now reaching the peak of superhuman. And with Fishman, now it's just her being able to outspeed them and trick them. Well, now she is rivaling a Fishman in strength, speed, technique, everything. Like Quina is rivaling Fishman, and without any trickery, just pure skill. Well, Zoro isn't superhuman yet. It's just he has irregular sword skill. That's really it. Yeah, XXX Gym. It's now like. So I'm pretty sure I said like last time it might have been like July at the point Luffy met Bellamy. So like Nami had just probably turned 10 or around that time. So it's been 3 months. So July, August, September, October. So they're in October. So fall. This time Zoro is almost he's almost 12. Let's assume that. Let me check something real quick. At this point, I think that Bellamy is almost 31. Quina would be 13. Zoro is almost 12. Then with Luffy's age being just turning 15 the moment he set sail to go meet Zoro and Queen again. He just turned 15. So with that, we can assume that Usopp is actually 10 at this point. So yeah. Now, setting sail. As they set sail, oh no, let's say land. I'm sorry about that. They land, and they go on the island, and they meet, let's say, look at the master's name. There's the true master. With that, the true master would actually introduce them to his students, not really feeling that they're insanely strong. But he'd be mighty wrong. The students he introduced them to would be Blue Gilly and Ideo. Now, Ideo would just think that they're just random kids and some adult that are pirates, or that are want to be pirates, and want to test their strength. With that, Luffy would allow them to think they're weak. His Ideo would go for his punch. Just to see if they can withstand, like, not all out punch, but he just go for a normal punch. Luffy will actually take the punch to the face without even moving an inch. Well, his nose just moved a little bit, but yeah. But yeah, so the punch lands. Luffy's face isn't really too phased. But suddenly, Ideo would feel himself being lifted off the ground and sent flying and get into the ceiling. He hits the ground. As everyone will notice, his chest has a gigantic bruise on it. Luffy says, "Oh, it seems I wasn't opening back enough." Actually was shocked as Ideo was one of his best students. And Blue Gilly would go launch an attack, and it stopped easily by Belmere, and now it's leg on leg attacks. But Belmere is able to outmatch Blue Gilly just in sheer strength and speed, just not length. Take that whatever way you want, but Blue Gilly's legs were just longer. That's really it. But yeah. Now eventually this leads to Belmere beating up Blue Gilly, and Luffy abusing Ideo in one blow. So yeah. And after that, True Master would accept them as students, and they've been training. Luffy learns boxing, as that's one of the martial arts I have Luffy learn, but he just learns boxing, and then he learns just some martial arts that involve him using his legs, which kind of just advanced karate and taekwondo mainly, which would result in him learning renewal taekwondo. So yeah, one of the moves he actually invents with his mixture of karate, taekwondo, and then making his own would be reverse spin and forward punch. Those are the two moves that he had learned. And then, he had invented. And then one of the other moves would just be called Bakedu. That's one of the moves that Jinmori uses, or Morijin, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, so 2 kicking moves and 1 punch. Yeah, now they were actually there, let's say, 1 year. They were there 1 year. So yeah, Luffy's now 16. It's been exactly 1 year, so it's October all over again. Actually, it's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. No, March, July. Messed that up. So July, like late July, early August. Yeah, they're ready to set sail again. And with that, now Luffy is 16, Belmere 31, Zoro is 12, Kuina she's 13. Usopp had just turned, I want to say 11. And then, yeah. Now, as we're about to set sail again, Gilly and Idea beg them to, take us with you. But Luffy has a different idea, because he had learned from someone called, a group called the Hoppo Navy. And how they have this weird martial art. And Luffy wants to learn it, but Idea and Blue Gilly have to advance. But already, everyone on Luffy's crew can beat them pretty damn easily. So he says, no, not yet. You guys are too weak. This is a big blow to Idea and Blue Gilly's confidence, but it's true. But let's set sail again, we're waving goodbye to the True Master. And yeah. And now next up, I'm pretty sure, check where the Hoppo Navy is. So they're already in the west. So that's where Kano Kingdom is, / Hoppo Navy. So yeah, they go to look for the Hoppo Navy, or Kano Kuni, and they find it. So they find Kano Kuni, they wait there for the army to get back, and when the army would see this pirate ship, where they usually dock their main ship, Sai, Chinjao, and pretty sure his brother's name is Boo, they get out of their vessel, and jump on the Charlotte ship, ready for a fight. And Luffy then actually asks to experience their legendary martial arts. Now, Sai actually asks why Luffy wants to know what their martial art is like, and Luffy explains that he's a master martial artist and would like to experience martial arts he's never heard of until recently. Sai chuckles as Boo says he'll handle it. He can do it himself. He landed one kick on Luffy's head, and he controls the vibration, which actually does mess with Luffy's head a bit. But the metal doesn't make it any better. With that, the Sea Stone actually doesn't negate a lot of the effects, and Luffy suddenly headbutts Boo right into the ground. Boo rubs his head, saying, "Ow." But he tries to stand back up, just immediately throwing up and falling over. Luffy gave Boo a pretty bad concussion. Now, this kind of shocks most of the Straw Hats because Luffy is stunned. That's not something that happens usually. He's only been stunned by like Garp and other people like that. Well, Ideo did do it once. That's just Ideo using a full power to close punch Luffy's face, and just that sheer force plus explosion did vibrate the metal inside Luffy's head a bit. But the Sea Stone doesn't negate a lot of that effect because it's not metallic. But now we have Luffy who has to fight against Sai. Now Luffy and Sai begin fighting, and as they fight, Sai's vibrations are actually messing Luffy's body, kind of just bending off a lot of his body. Like a lot of his just, like his legs, arms, everything is just being stunned and messed with, and the metal isn't making it any better. Eventually, he's actually able to get his hands on Sai, and was able to adapt to a little bit of some of the Hoppo-Can martial arts. And this led to him actually being able to use one of the moves by kicking Sai right in the arm, by controlling the vibration to specifically go all around Sai's elbow, and, well, it makes a pretty bad crack or breaks his elbow, whatever you want to say. But then Luffy does a mixture of Muay Thai to elbow Sai in the head, and then knee him in the jaw. When he does that, Sai falls to the ground unconscious with his jaw pretty badly broken, and one of his eyes bleeding. That means Luffy hitting Sai like right in the eye with his elbow is like dirty fighting. And Don Chijo clearly see that Luffy's a martial artist, but his center of gravity kind of put off balance. He meant to hit Sai in the temple, but hit him in the eye instead. It did more damage. Well, not did more damage. It did more physical damage instead of just knocking him out in one blow. Now Chinjo versus Luffy. This fight ends with Don Chinjo abusing Luffy. Luffy is put on the brink of death through Don Chinjo using Haki, knowing that Luffy's getting used to vibrations. But Chinjo basically just puts Luffy out of commission, almost permanently, because he almost killed Luffy. Let's go back to the east. Luffy is completely just in a hospital bed on a ship. And on the way back, they pass by a kingdom by the name of Drum Kingdom. And they realize that Luffy's condition is getting a little worse. They want to stop by just for some medical attention. As they stop by, they're able to get Luffy off the boat, or at least out of his room a bit, just because he asked for it. And then this leads to them asking for a doctor, which they say, "Oh, there's no doctors. Our leader took them all." Our leader happens to be off island right now and going to a meeting. And one of the village people points out on top of the mountain, saying, "We should have our doctors staying up there." That referring to So he's like Chopper, Dr. Rean, and Kirluck. So Bellamy will actually pick up Luffy and wrap him in a blanket. And she has her winter gear on, and she runs up the mountain. With the animal, she just jumps right over them, kicking them away, and he's climbing up the mountain as much as she can. Eventually, Luffy's able to just use some of his power and begin pulling himself up a bit, because just let Belmere get a little bit of quote-unquote rest. And she's able to recover a little bit of strength just by resting on the mountain a bit. He picks up Luffy again, who had wasted all the strength, and climbs the rest of the mountain by herself. She gets to the top, she walks into the castle, and with that, Chopper will actually be on defensive. So Dr. Rean, because you don't know who these people are, they're obviously not residents of the island. They didn't see a badly beaten Luffy, who is actually pouring blood through his blanket, because he'd used all the strength, and she tore open some of his wounds just by climbing. As that, Dr. Rean and Chopper meet those situations. Chopper would go into his hybrid form, which is human/reindeer form, pick up Luffy, and bring him to a bed. They put Luffy down as Belmere's not injured, and she only had to carry Luffy. So she just begins watching, and she was given some warm water in the bed. As they pick up Luffy, Dr. Rean and Chopper point out that Luffy's body is more robotic in terms of skeletal structure than human. And Bellmere says she doesn't understand why, but all that she knows is that basically Luffy said that he was in an accident when he was a kid, and it broke almost all of his bones, which involved him getting more metallic bones. But Dr. Rain will examine it along with Dr. Heerlook, who's got some decent medical knowledge, and say, no, these bones have been like this since he was born. There's no sign of ever having human-like bone structure. Which does shock Dr. Rain. It shocks Bellmere. She doesn't know Luffy's the kind of person to lie, so he assumes that it's the result of Luffy being lied to. Which is true. So yeah, now we go to basically when Luffy wakes up one day later. Now, Luffy actually awakened one of his abilities, that being the ability of Marco. Luffy's body began healing naturally since he was put on the brink of death. The body wasn't truly on the brink of death when his body began getting cut open and examined. So his body began healing itself, and by the time Dr. Ian and Dr. Ian and Chopper were going to perform surgery to put Luffy's robotic and metal pieces back together, he jumped out of bed, and his body was completely healed with a select few bits of scarring. Now they were a little concerned, but they examined him, saying his body was actually completely fine now. And Dr. Ian actually came to the conclusion Luffy may somehow have had self-regeneration. This kind of confused everyone. Luffy then says that it was weak to Garp next time he sees him, or his grandfather next time he sees him. So Dr. Ian says, well, you do that, because this is a little confusing. Sorry. Alright, so Luffy actually thanks Dr. Ian Chopper and Dr. Heerlook, and suddenly they realize that they hear fighting outside. They run out, seeing Dalton fighting Zoro, Kuina fighting in chess, and Usopp is fighting Kuromarimo. Luffy walks outside. His body is feeling better than ever, as his body grew back stronger. But Luffy's body kind of felt like it kind of went through like a small bit of like skipping through time in a sense, just to heal a bit faster. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like for Luffy, because his hair was a little bit too long for being. He doesn't know how long he's been out. He doesn't know how long. So Luffy feels like he skipped through time because his hair looked very long, which it was. It wasn't maintained. His hair is down to his shoulder blades. But yeah, just to say that, but he didn't skip through time. He just feels like he did because his body is a little bit different. Yeah, so Luffy would dash straight towards Kuromarimo, seeing him as the biggest threat. But he then mainly dodges him, seeing Mushuru, which is Wapple's brother in the movie, was actually trying to kill Usopp. But Luffy actually appeared right behind Mushuru, and Mushuru then realized that, well, he's not moving. Then he realized that, well, he wasn't not moving. He doesn't have a body. And he then looks at his body, but with no head. And then before he can realize what happened, he had died. Luffy had speed blitzed Mushuru and tore his head off. Luffy had dropped Mushuru's head, jumping up and down, saying, wow, that was really fast. And he then looks at Wapple, saying, now, your turn. Next to that Wapple, and in the same fashion that Mubong did to Teijin, shoved his hand straight through his chest, killing him. Luffy laughs, saying, alright, this is a little too easy. He then looks at Usopp, as he put Kuromarimo in we find a chokehold for Usopp to do. So as I paused the video, I started thinking of a choke that I'd saw in the UFC. I was watching clips of it, and I'm like, oh, guillotine choke, that works. So Usopp had put Kuromarimo in a guillotine choke and made him pass out. And then I'll show you what a guillotine choke is. Here. Oh, wrong thing. Alright. So, here, that's a guillotine choke. And I googled jutsu moves for Usopp earlier, and all I got was like rear naked choke, triangle choke, and a con device, that stuff. But I watched UFC clips earlier, so yeah. But Usopp had to use a guillotine choke, and it made Kuromarimo pass out. Then Dalton versus Zoro. So Dalton was having trouble outmatching Zoro's strength, as in this fight Zoro began reaching superhuman strength, or at least just that's really it. It will actually fend off Dalton, and push Dalton across the face. Then Dalton's fighting back. But for this one, Dalton's able to just go full bull and actually hits Zoro, not off the horn, but just with his bare head, hitting Zoro in the gut, sending him flying back into the snow, making him pass out. But Dalton turned human again, will turn to his human form again, actually bowing for Zoro and apologizing, saying that this isn't right, he doesn't want to fight kids who are just trying to help their friend. Luffy actually respects Dalton for that one, and walks up to him saying, "Alright, go in the castle, sit down. Meaning, we'll have discussion later." Dalton does so, and then hits at Kuina versus Chess. It is not a fight, it is abuse. Kuina is beating the living hell out of Chess. It's not even funny. She's not even using her sword, she's punching the face every time he misses, which is every single shot he takes. At one point, by the last shot, she dodges one of his arrows, and he throws it back right through his arm. With him being stunned, he kicks him in the face right off the mountain. And Zoro wakes up soon after. As he wakes up, Dalton had been forgiven, and with their kings being dead, and every single runner-up being imprisoned, next option up being Dr. Heerlook, who had not been poisoned by Chopper by accident. And I'm not saying Chopper poisoned him on purpose, I'm saying that it was an accident, but it was poison. So his son, Dr. Heerlook, and Dalton are the next positions available. But with everyone disliking Dr. Heerlook, they're like, oh, well, no, he can't be king. Well, everyone's gonna know that Dr. Heerlook shouldn't be king. Well, Dalton sees Dr. Heerlook as probably the most sensible man in the kingdom, despite being goofy. So, as soon as they report the deaths and imprisonments of other guards besides Dalton, they actually announce Dr. Heerlook as the king, since he's the one that has shown the most care for the kingdom. Some of the adults actually find this as sensible. The ones with morals find it sensible. The ones that are straight up assholes think it's a lie. But in reality, it's true. Dr. Heerlook is a very good person, just has no medical knowledge, no matter how much he tried to help. Which he has to learn some decent medical knowledge from actual doctors. But now, Luffy being healed, he leaves this crew, and he heads straight back to the east. He gets to the east. He did take Chopper with him, by the way. If I go over the whole thing, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. For some reason, I skipped the whole thing for Chopper joining the crew. I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. But Luffy actually kind of asked Chopper to join the crew, saying he's a doctor in case he gets injured this badly, because he's like I said, he's the I didn't say this actually. Luffy's the best medical knowledge besides Belmere. That's just Luffy's basic knowledge. But he can't heal himself like this anymore because he doesn't know how to activate his healing abilities by default. That's Chopper, and Chopper agrees to that because, well, they need a doctor in case Luffy is beaten to hell again. Beaten to hell and back. So yeah, now they head back to East Blue, Chopper going with him, and he drops Usopp off at Syrup Village. And at this point, I believe that no, actually, never mind, I was wrong. I would say that maybe Kuro will be there. No, he would not be. But Usopp kept up his training routine. Luffy stopped by Barate, say hi to Sanji, and Sanji see Belmere again, and Kuina. Kuina is actually beats the hell out of Sanji for flirting with her. As Zoro, first time already beat the hell out of Sanji for saying don't do it. But now Kuina can do it herself. And then yeah. So Usopp dropped off at Syrup Village, step by Barate after, and then Belmere's dropped off right at Kokoshi Village. Zoro and Kuina are dropped off at Shimosuke Village, as Kuina actually beat her dad again, and then Zoro beats him. While Luffy would head back to his brothers in Great Terminal. Or Great Town. Pretty sure I made it Great Town. Or Great City. Everyone call it. But he is back there, and he would continue to hang out with Ace, Sabo, Nagari, and everyone else. As he hangs out with them at this point, Luffy's 16, so they would be, he's 3 years older than them, so they're 13, they're both 13. Actually, no, because the time skip in the months, Ace and Sabo are actually, like, 14, actually, so, yeah. They might have just turned 13, it might have been 14, I don't really care, but this is 13 or 14. We talked to Ace and Sabo for a bit, and now they've set sail, well, when they're 15. So yeah, Luffy is okay with this, and yeah. Now, we're going to basically go fast forward 2 years. Nojiko, Nami have been trained by Belmere to learn martial arts and get stronger. The Strats did not get bounty posters because the only crime was 1, and there's no one to report where they went. They're all unconscious. So kind of off the map, and when they're making the bounties, they went off the map, so can't really say that they know where they are. If you find them, it's going to be really hard, so who knows. The bounties were cancelled. Yeah, so Bellamy trains Dojiko, Nami, and her village to be warriors. Usopp would train Kai's guards to be warriors. And yeah, so when Kuro does arrive, he's beaten senseless by Usopp mainly, because Usopp is able to tell that he has bad intentions just by experience out in the sea. Not much experience, but experience. So he beats the hell out of Kuro, and then he flees with his tail between his legs. And then we go to Kuina. By the time it's been 2 years. No, actually no, it's been like 3. So at this point, Usopp was like 13. And then we would have so Kuina. It's been 3 years. She was, I believe she's like 13, 14. So she's like, let's say like just keep it sensible, easy for me. She's 16. So yeah, she's 16, and she's actually the master of her dojo. Her dad taught her all techniques he knew, which did enhance her strength a lot. Zoro had made his 3-sword style official, and he is the master of it. Kuina is not able to do it because of Zoro being physically stronger and faster, but Kuina has a technique advantage and beats the living hell out of him every time with that. Sanji and Zeph ended up their training a lot because Luffy kept coming and going from Bossy, beating them both up until he deemed them strong enough. He did that with his whole crew. Here's one about Chopper. Chopper stayed with Luffy actually considers Chopper a pet, and Chopper does know that. Well, that's not really wrong. Luffy feeds Chopper, gives him water, gives him everything, except bathes him. That's really it. So Chopper is quite literally Luffy's pet. But yeah, so Ace and Sabo, they leave. When Sabo kind of leaves he leaves when he's 16. Ace leaves when he's 17. So he leaves with Ace, because his ship had gotten messed up by some random little hoodlums in the Goa Kingdom. So he leaves with Ace, and he's with Ace all the way until they go into the Grand Line. Go into the Grand Line. Sabo hijacks the ship and then leaves. But Ace has his normal crew. And his Marinara no Mi. He got that when Luffy was teaching him how to navigate better. So yeah, but Ace has a little more experience with his Marinara no Mi. So yeah, now we're going to go to when Luffy would leave again. This time, he leaves with Nagari and Chopper. Nagari's coming along because Luffy doesn't want Nagari to be alone. But yeah, so Luffy's first stop being Shimotsuki Village. When he stops by, Zoro runs down, only yelling "Big Bro Luffy," because Zoro's the first one to see it. Kuina was sleeping because it's in the middle of the night, and Zoro was just up training until he saw the flag. And Kuina, she woke up when she heard Zoro's voice yell "Big Bro." Then Kuina began yelling "Big Bro Luffy" as well, in her pajamas. And she ran actually past Zoro, just out of sheer excitement, picking up Zoro, saying, "Let's go." Now, Luffy said, "It's too late for this. Why are you guys yelling?" But he just kind of woke up a little bit because he was sailing while he was asleep. Well, he wasn't sailing while he was asleep, but not that he slept most of the day. But Luffy heard yelling, so he woke up. But suddenly he just jumped on by Kuina and Zoro, then hugging him. And Zoro's being a little more goofy, just because Zoro is just being a little more lighthearted. Luffy will pry them both off of him. At this point, Luffy had awakened more abilities, other than his regeneration. So I'll go over the abilities he had learned. Luffy is able to communicate with certain animals using the voices of all things. He's so basically able to speak. He's able to speak whale, fish, basically mainly common animals you would see on Luffy's island, so normal land animals, but kind of counting tigers because Luffy has tiger on his island, and then wolves as well, foxes, fish, all kinds of fish. Luffy can do that, and then King of the Coast, Luffy can speak to that pretty clearly, and Laboon and that kind of stuff. So voice of all things control, then his regeneration. Luffy, his intelligence is given, and Luffy is beginning to awaken his abilities with his eyes, or his awakening of observation haki. Then Luffy is also awakening his like durability, like his awakened version of durability. And then Luffy would also begin getting his gliding / floating. So yeah. Now just that. His fisherman karate, he had learned all the moves like of fisherman karate, like the basics, just somehow. But yeah, so also Luffy's height is insane at this point, because everyone on this list is like, so Kaido, Big Mom, Roger, Troy Boy, Whitebeard, maybe Rocks, Bullet, Dofi, Moria, King, Queen, Kuma, and Jinbei. Well, a majority of Luffy's DNA comes from people who are like 10 feet tall. At this point, Luffy being 19, his height would rest at a good 6'8". So Queen and Zoro are being towered over by their big bro. Zoro being around 5'8", Queen being around 5'5". But she can admit that Luffy is a giant. But they do ask who Nagari is and how Chopper's doing. So at this point, Chopper, and then Chopper's supposed to be like 12. I just realized that. Like, you know, he's like 11. He's 11. But yeah, so that's how Chopper's doing. But yeah, so Luffy introduces Nagari as his father figure, completely ignoring that dragon and Garp. Well, completely ignoring Dragon and Garp, because he spent more time with Nagari than basically all of them. At least time not counted besides training. This point, Luffy did start growing facial hair a little bit, but he cut it, and it took a while for it to grow back. Luffy did grow muscle style facial hairs when he did start growing it. First off, he grew the white beard mustache, which he immediately cut because he recognized it. He recognized it or felt it looked familiar. He cut it. Then he grew the dry white beard that we see right here. He cut that immediately. And then he grew the Roger style mustache, which Nagari thought was a little weird, and Luffy got that. And Kaido, and then so on and so forth. He had multiple styles of facial hair that were just people he didn't know of, but felt familiar. So yeah. But Luffy does eventually just say that they'll say that she was taking care of Chopper like a pet, and everything else. Then our next stop being Kakashi Village. They sail there, and when they sail there, Queen had passed down the ownership of the dojo. Alright, so next stop Kakashi Village, and they sail there. They get there, Bellamy's pretty happy to see them, because it's like she hasn't seen her other kids for a very long time. And she does tell Nami and Nojiko about the family dynamic on the ship. So, with that, Luffy is kind of now the illegitimate older brother of Nami and Nojiko. And this leads to Nagari, who's now the grandfather figure of the crew. And Luffy does ask if Nami and Nojiko want to be members of the crew. Nojiko declines, saying that she's the strongest in the village, so she has to protect it in her own way. So Luffy accepts that, asking Nami, and she does say that she can be the navigator. But she does ask if they have like other positions. Explain that they have a sharpshooter, 2 swordsmen, 3 for himself, well 2 gunmen counting Belmir, and Usopp, then 3 swordsmen counting himself, Kuina, and Zoro. Well, most of the crew consists of fighters who can do other things, mainly. That's what it is. So yeah, the only thing they're missing so far is a cook and a musician. But they're all pretty good cooks of the things they like, so that works. But Luffy is pretty decent at cooking Oden. That's mainly one of his specialties, because Luffy has a slight memory of a certain someone cooking Oden. He doesn't remember from where, but he remembers the ingredients, and he makes it. You guys couldn't tell already, this is quite just Roger and Shanks' memories colliding with Luffy's, or their experiences colliding with Luffy's and creating a memory. So yeah, they created that slight memory of Oden, and that's really it. So yeah, now Luffy sails away with Nami, and Belmir, saying goodbye to Nojiko. And next up, Syrup Village. We get there, Usopp ran down the village, as his hair was, he looks a lot like post-time skip Usopp minus the beard, that's really it. And the weaponry. Usopp jumps down, and lands on the ship, hugging Luffy, saying big bro. And Usopp then yells, "You guys have to meet my girlfriend." Luffy's something froze saying, "This will just not get a girlfriend before me." And he then sees Kaya saying, that explains it. He says hi to Kaya, and they talk for a bit. So talk to Kaya, Kuina, and Kuina and Belmer are giving Kaya the death glare, saying you better take care of him. And Tsunami isn't doing anything because she barely knows Usopp. So, yeah, well, she knows him actually pretty well, just not as well as Belmer and Kuina. But Kaya just nods, saying that she loves taking care of Usopp, and that she lets Usopp live with her in her mansion. Belmer and Kuina lay off, and they've been treating her like Belmer treats her like a daughter, and Kuina treats her like a younger sister. But Usopp then says, well, can Kaya do plan on getting married when Usopp is a strong, brave warrior of the sea, like he wants to be, like to the peak he wants to be. By that time, Luffy then chuckles, saying, well, by the time Kaya will have to call him Big Bro Luffy. Like everyone else does, besides Nagari and Belmer. So this leads to Kaya chuckling, saying, will do. And she was telling them, like, oh, you guys hear about Usopp chasing away a pirate from our village, who was a really strong one. And they talk about Kuro. Luffy just sighs, saying, Usopp, did you damage him too much? Because he does come back with a strong group of pirates who's going to protect the village. Usopp points a big star on his back, saying he already did, and he fended them off, getting only this one wound. Then Kaya points to the side, saying, he also got shot. Luffy froze, saying, Usopp, where do I start with lecturing you? This is the Belmer grabbing Usopp, holding him upside down, and hitting him in the butt with her gun, saying, how dare you, you're so stupid. And just basically insulting Usopp for fighting people with guns. Well, Usopp is not good with guns whatsoever. He's just a marksman with a slingshot. Usopp eventually cried, and she started crying, bowed down, and apologized for fighting someone with guns, and not asking for help. Or telling them that he fought a pirate and didn't think about the crew. So, yeah. But now, Luffy would just, he just laughs at Usopp, saying, you got beat. Well, then Belmer hits him over the head, saying, you should be showing sympathy. And if you guys are wondering about why I didn't go over that, I didn't feel like it. But now I'll go over it. After a month after Kuro left from being beaten up by Usopp, he came back to the Black Eyed Pirates, and brothers were Usopp's biggest problems, besides Kuro, because Kuro had a very badly broken hand from Usopp just legit snapping it. Like, he snapped it like a twig. Like, he bent Kuro's hand in half. Like, from the palm up, he bent it in half. So, yeah, so Kuro couldn't really use his dominant hand to fight, and he couldn't learn how to use the other hand that fast. And if he did try, Usopp bent that hand in half as well. The Kuro couldn't really fight, tried to use kicks, was pretty bad at it compared to Usopp. Usopp then broke both of his legs, and Django was taken out pretty easily with a simple slingshot to the head. Or with a slingshot, we'll take a lead ball to the head from the slingshot. And yeah, but now the Mountain Brothers were able to slash Usopp's back, leaving that big mark. Looks like they will put one of them in that guillotine choke, and actually move it a certain way that snaps their neck, making their head do a full 360. Well, not the full 180. The last brother, Usopp just punches right in the throat full force, making him choke on their own blood. But then Django got back up and shot Usopp. Usopp was able to dodge it decently, just hearing the sound, trying to react to the sound. But he didn't dodge the full thing, because originally it would have gone through his spine, but it just went through his side. Usopp was able to just throw one of his firebird stars right at Django's head, killing him. With Django dead, Kuro basically paralyzed, and both Melvin brothers dying, as we speak. Well, one of them dying, the other one already dead. They retreat, because Usopp is still being a complete unit while being weakened. So they all run off, and Usopp could have clearly killed the whole crew while weakened, being around 12 at the time. I got the Usopp being shot thing from South in the Tokyo Revengers manga. South is in the new big bad of the villain besides Mikey. Big bad of the manga besides Mikey. Spoiler. But yeah, I should have been able to see that Mikey is going to be a big bad by the way his future keeps turning out. But yeah. Now, yeah. So that happened. Luffy leaves with Usopp. Kaya says goodbye. But as a thank you, they get a certain dozen billion berries from Kaya's family. As Usopp did learn a few things about trading from Luffy. So, I have to pause real quick, sorry. Yeah, so Luffy leaves with Usopp. Kai gives him like 2 billion berries, already more than the 1 billion Luffy had brought on for them. Yeah. Now the ship does get a proper name, and I'm pretty sure I didn't say the ship name in the first place. Originally, Luffy just kept calling the ship the Red Force, but what was the name I thought of? I'm gonna find the name in my notes. So the ship is named Tsuchi Chaden, or Steel Challenger, because Luffy's steel bone and the Jolly Roger being the straw hat that Luffy wears was the Jolly Roger, but now the skull is actually just a complete, fully metal skull. The Chopper did tell Luffy that no, it's not just half his head; it's his complete skull is made of steel and sea stone. So yeah, Chopper, when he's doing Luffy had to scratch his face doing it himself, and then Chopper had to kind of mess with Luffy's face to fix what Luffy did, and he was able to tap on it to feel it's actually sea stone and steel. And Luffy just began healing himself immediately. But yeah, so Tsuchi Chaden, Steel Challenger. That knows background is BDA Law. He's pretty cool. Watch his videos. And Ohara in the background. Now, next stop I believe would just be the Brassier. So it's the Brassier, and at this point Sanji would be like, I assume Sanji's probably like 15. So, yeah, it's around 15, 16. He goes and gets to the Brassier, sees Zeph and Sanji. Zeph is not the short and tubby man that we usually know. He's more like the average-sized buff guy. His body type is very similar to Don Krieg's, just his normal person. A noble person, not normal, noble. And moral. We see Sanji, who has a little bit of facial hair, growing, and he's noticeably a bit more muscular, and a few scars. But first thing he does, say hi to his big brother Luffy, and then begins hitting on Nami, Belmir, and Kuina. Releases Zoro, being a little more defensive, picking up Sanji, and throwing him in the ocean, saying, back off. And Zoro immediately blushed, as Kuina then says, damn it, you idiot. Zoro looks at him saying, what? Luffy looks at him saying, this is like a joking manner, saying, what happened between you two, huh? Huh? And Queen says, Zoro, you explain it. Zoro under his breath and says, I like people touching my girlfriend. We had laughed at Zoro, saying, you idiot. You called her your sister a few years ago. Look at whatever way we want, it's Zoro lying that first time. But yeah, so Zoro and Queen are dating. So this leaves Luffy, Belmir, Nami, Sanji, and Chopper, and Nagari as the single ones. While Usopp, Zoro, and Kuina are dating someone. Two of them are dating each other. And Usopp is just dating someone rich. Well, Kuina is kind of rich in her own way, but yeah. No, Sanji just does join the crew, singing as a crew of love and beautiful women. So he joins the crew, and they set sail after Zeph says, alright, just have fun and be safe. Now, then it's time for us to go over Luffy's actually was able to master Hoppo Navy techniques. That's really it. The Hoppo Navy techniques were really easy for Luffy to learn, just through information he's gotten from people that did know and encountered Hoppo Navy in fights. It wasn't many, but Luffy was able to get a few moves. And he mastered the basics of it. So yeah. Now they go to Logtown, they get there, and Usopp does buy the new updated version of the goggles that he wanted to buy originally. He didn't buy the current version, just the less versions. He buys the new versions, puts them on, and then Daddy Mission's daughter wouldn't get mad at Usopp, wanted to buy those for her dad. They tell her dad that Usopp stole them from her, and her dad challenges Usopp to a gun battle. But he just says a joke, and Usopp says, sure, why not? I'm the best sniper in the East. Which is not a lie. Usopp is the best in the East. Yes, Luffy and Nagari and Belmir exist, but Usopp is still the best. So yeah, I actually told Usopp a gun, saying that he won't go for Usopp's head, but he'll shoot him. Well, Usopp then says he doesn't need a gun. Guns are weapons of cowards. If you're not using them to kill. Winston chuckles saying, "So want me to aim for your head?" Usopp says, just at least try to kill me. He throws the gun, the other gun that matches in, also the slingshot, and uses just a lead ball. So yeah, then Winston say, "All right, 3 steps, turn around, 3 steps, turn around again, fire." Or turn around, 10 steps, turn around again, fire. So they both take 10 steps, 1, 2, 3, turn around, fire. Usopp's lead ball goes straight through Dimension's bullets. If you apply them like a certain way, just go one bullet through, then the other one go through that entry hole. Usopp's able to fire the ball through both of them, and Dimension right in the eye, and blinding him in that one eye. He falls to the ground, holding his eye, saying, "What the hell was that? A lead ball?" Usopp says, "Yeah, lead ball." Then Usopp picks it up, saying, "You try to hold it." We're just going to try to hold it. Immediately, his hand falls to the ground, being broken. Lead ball, yes, it looks pretty small, but in reality, it's over 300 pounds. So Usopp tries putting it back in his pouch, saying, "I'd have this thing specially made to carry it." But Usopp picks up guns, saying, "Which one is the best?" And Dimension points to the one on his waist. Usopp pulls it out, saying, "Was it given to you by your daughter or someone important?" Dimension just says, "No, he got it for being a Marine hero at some point." Usopp puts it down again, saying, "Second most powerful." Dimension points to this gun, saying he can just bought it off a whim. Usopp takes it and says, "This is my prize then." Usopp walks away chuckling, and Dimension then realizes that Usopp is Yasopp's son after looking at the hair and the slight physical appearance, just besides the long nose. So he kind of thought that he was like words in his head saying, "Yasopp, that boy's gonna surpass you pretty fast." So yeah. Now, Nami just buys some of the clothes, as Bellmere has to limit the amount she buys. Belmere still has a cooking competition, but this time she makes it official. He's the best cook in the East. They say the cooks that judge the original woman are there, and they declare Sanji better than her by a lot. And Sanji makes the food, leaves taking his prize fish, and then Zoro is able to talk to Ipponmatsu and his wife, as they have a kid now. Kuina does mention to Ipponmatsu that when Zoro isn't being Zoro anymore, when he's finally ready to not stop being a pirate, she will most definitely have a child with him. When Zoro decides, saying he'll never stop being a pirate, he'll still be himself no matter what. When decides, saying, "Alright, when he's 20, we'll have a kid." Zoro says, "Too soon, too soon, too soon, too soon." Kuina says, "Nope, it's decided, let's go." Zoro just sighs, saying, "I hate this." But now, Bellamy and Nami back ship with tons of clothes, and then he says this comes back twirling a pistol, or a magnum, whatever you want to say, I don't care, but it's more like a magnum. He goes back to the ship. Zoro has his head back to the ship, a little nervous. Then Luffy was already on the boat, just chilling out there. Nagari went to go buy more Tabasco, and everyone just came back after their stuff. But now, suddenly Smoker and Tashigi approach the ship, Tashigi being a little bit younger, not even being of a fighter rank, just being a seaman recruit. Luffy looking at Smoker, saying, Oh buddy, how are you? Your head still hurt?" Smoker then points to just a very large scar on his head, saying, "You busted my skull open." Luffy says, "Oh, well, too hard?" Smoker nods, saying, "You actually didn't intend to kill me?" Luffy shook his head no, saying, "No, just trying to not knock you out. You had a C-Zone tipped staff, so I assume they might have been Logia." Smoker chuckles, saying, You catch on too fast. But I'm far stronger than you now. Which leads to Luffy appearing right behind Smoker with his staff in hand, hitting him in his back, saying, "Nope, still too slow, and still too weak." Smoker hits the ground, saying, "Oh, dear God." As he rolls over, holding his back, has a pretty bad bruise on it. Luffy then hits Smoker across the face, actually holding him back a lot this time, and it just knocks him out, leaving a pretty big brute. That's really it, not busting anything open. Also, Shiggy would go for Luffy, but leads to Nami just knocking Shiggy in the back of the head full force, knocking her out, saying, that's pretty weak. Nami walks on the boat with Luffy, and then they sail away. Chopper is was busy mixing his medicinal chemicals. They go over Reverse Mountain. Luffy ends up talking to Crocus and the Laboon for a bit. Nagadi and Crocus get along pretty well, and Crocus saying that they do accept all ages on the crew because they kind of thought it was just a crew of youngsters. Then says that consider himself an ally of the crew. So yeah. Now, Boone asks Luffy for any knowledge on the crew that had died, and Luffy says no, not yet. when Crocus will ask Luffy, not Crocus, I mean, Laboon, Nobody would ask Luffy what Laboon had said. Luffy tells Crocus and says, oh, he had his report saying that he has seen a ghost ship with a certain kind of flag in the Florian Triangle. He's heard reports of it from a merchant ship. And he describes the flag as Laboon would actually confirm this is the ship. So Luffy then says that he'll explore it, seeing if you have any remains to send to Laboon or Crocus, just for confirmation of their death. Because Luffy does think they're all dead. Laboon would appreciate it, and then Luffy can send sail with his crew. Now, they stop at Whiskey Peak this time, because Luffy and Zoro both want to try their whiskey. Zoro does have a habit of sneakily drinking behind Kuina's back. So yeah, now Luffy would find out they don't have any good whiskey, just kind of basic stuff you'd find on merchant ships. Zoro and Luffy are both disappointed, so they just settle for sake. Now the assassins there do still work for Baroque Works, as Baroque Works is just now setting in. As they're there, Luffy does seem to notice a very beautiful, busty woman there. Long black hair, very blue eyes, and with a man with a scar on his face, hook for a hand, and seems to have sand coming from his hand. Luffy can tell this worked the devil fruit, and Luffy actually points out the busty woman to Sanji. And Usopp actually being more experienced with women now, had points out that her bust is a certain number of centimeters. Let's use Tsunade terms and say 106. Let me check this. Okay, so let's say Robin's somewhere around 80 something centimeters. Tsunade's around like 100 something. Like Robin's like Tsunade's like 106. Say Robin is like high 80s, early 90s. Say that. But yeah, so Luffy struggles, saying Usopp is a pervert, and Sanji then says, can you give me an exact number, and I'll be nice. And Usopp would settle on 91 centimeters. So yeah, now Luffy decides to approach Robin and begins flirting, and Robin can admit Luffy's a pretty smooth guy. Crocodile immediately goes to stab Luffy through the head with his little old hook, but Luffy would suddenly be behind Crocodile, and then throw him to the side, saying you're in the way. Now, this shocks everyone because Crocodile was thrown. His attack missed, even though it was at point-blank range, and that person was able to run faster than sound, pretty easily, and throw Crocodile to the side. Now with that, a fight breaks out immediately, with all the Baroque Works being there, even the numbers. This immediately leads to Mr. 1 attacking Luffy, but he sees Zoro appear in front of him, and kicks Mr. 1 right into the ground. And Mr. Doublefinger would go to attack Zoro, which leads to Kuina easily handling her. And then Mr. 2, still dealt with by Sanji. Sanji, the first blow that Mr. 1 blocks, both of his arms break. Like, his arms are broken. But then Sanji headbutts him into the ground, saying, alright, I win. Usopp is actually able to handle Mr. Let me check. Alright, so Zoro handles Mr. 1, Kuina handles Miss Doublefinger. Mr. 3, Mr. 2 is easily beaten by Sanji. Then Mr. 3, pretty easily handled by Usopp. Usopp is actually able to have Kabuto now. Usopp learned how to use a staff. Usopp is a master of basically like pole arms. Like staffs, Naginasas, is that kind of stuff. And Usopp kind of just picks up a knife on the ground from one of the bounty hunters. He just punched right in the jaw and knocked out. Picks up that knife, ties it to the end of Kabuto, and throws it right at Mr. 3. Hits Mr. 3 in the hand. Usopp knees him right in the nose, knocking him out. So Miss Golden Week is punched in the back of the head by Usopp as she tries to hit him. Not hit him, but ping on him, and he just appears behind her, hitting the back of the head. Picks up Kabuto, takes off the knife, puts it in his pocket. And then Gem. So, yeah. Now, Mr. 4. That's easily handled by Chopper, so Miss Merry Christmas. He handles them both himself. But then Miss Gem is actually shot right in the chest by Usopp. Not in the heart, but on the other side of his chest is shot right there. And Gem falls over. And Usopp chuckles, saying, alright, that's a little too easy. This whole thing is that everything's pretty easy, not realizing how strong he actually is. And Kaya does say that when Usopp's a strong boy that he likes, we'll get married. Usopp technically right now would get married to Kaya. He just doesn't know how strong he actually is. Until he gets to the new world. Then he'll realize that he's not as strong as he thinks he is. He does know he's strong, just doesn't know how strong he actually is. But Valentine's handled by Nami, just like doing drop kick right in the face. And then, yeah, everyone else is handled. While Luffy would fight Crocodile, and he's dodging all Crocodile's attacks. Luffy not having hockey, he's just kind of watching this, until Nagi blocks one of the attacks from Crocodile, saying, Luffy, you need to learn some form of hockey besides observation. Crocodile yells, get out of the way, old man, I'll kill you too. Nagi enforces conquers on the Crocodile, which stuns him for a bit, and then on hockey fist to the face, knocks out Crocodile. Listen to Nagi would say, kids these days, so disrespectful. Luffy then bows, saying, sorry, Grandpa. As Luffy has two grandfathers, Garp, and, well, Garp is technically his father, so he has one grandfather, one father, one grandfather, and then not one, but multiple brothers, that being among them, Dragon. Well, Dragon kind of thought of Luffy as more like a brother, too, because he never wanted to be a father figure to Luffy. So technically, Dragon has no kids, just a really young brother. All in Luffy counts Sabo among his brothers, so technically, Sabo's more like Dragon's brother instead of son. Or or half-son, step-son, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, so it's kind of Luffy's whole family. Very, very complicated. Everyone gets back on the ship after everyone's been handled. It's Monday, was pretty easily beaten up. And yeah, Mr. Nine was ever like, all the numbers are defeated. I remember Brokeworks, millions to billions on the island are beaten to hell. And Luffy robs every single one of their pockets, even Crocodile. The only one that wasn't handled was Robin, because Luffy had interest in her, so he brought her on board and talked to her. That's really it. But eventually Robin would just say that she has no interest in Crocodile. He just proved useful, so she joined him. Now Luffy asked why he was useful, and she said just money and reputation. Luffy mentioned that his crew is a lot stronger and has a lot more money, so she can join them until she finds them useless. She's used to this, and then they set sail to Alabasta, because that's where she says a lot more numbers are there. So you get there, and their whole goal is to take down numbers. We're going to Brokeworks tattoo on just random people. Eventually, after all taken down, their king just like question them, like he runs them all up, saying, "Why are you taking down innocent civilians and guards?" They mentioned Crocodile, saying that his Brokeworks members infiltrating the kingdom, sneakily kill King Cobra and then take it over. They know everyone that Luffy took down does have Brokeworks tattoos, so Luffy's actions are backed up. Crocodile does have some people with Brokeworks tattoo himself, and then they're all taken down, arrested, and then Crocodile flees immediately, leaving. And he just hears from information that Luffy's from the East Blue, so not wanting to mess with it, he knows the East Blue, and goes as far away as possible. But the king, to thank Luffy and everyone else, throws him a small party. So yeah. Now, well, they do meet Vivi, they become good friends with her, become good friends with Igaram, everyone. Luffy especially becomes good friends with Pell, and as Pell and Luffy are flying, Luffy is just floating around for fun, just show Luffy around. Luffy fell off Pell, and Luffy immediately activated his glide ability, not realizing how it worked. He's about to hit a building. Luffy suddenly realized he didn't go through anything, and once his feet were touching the ground, Pell wasn't holding him up, nothing. Luffy was just floating. He immediately just kicked the air as hard as he can, and began gliding, until he began falling to the ground. But Pell caught him, saying, "That's pretty impressive. What devil does Luffy have?" And Luffy then says, "None that he knows of." Now Pell's a little confused, but they ignore it, saying it as just some form of martial art, like Rokushiki. Because Luffy knows what that is. He knows what Rokushiki is, so he assumes that's what it is. But yeah. So they leave Alabasta. They visit Lowgarden and say hi to Dory and Broggy. As Dory and Broggy are about to leave, they think they're going strong enough. Usopp says that he'll test their strength himself. So Dory and Broggy is coming down to Usopp. As they do know, the whole crew is full of strong warriors, so they think Usopp can handle it, which he's easily able to. Dory and Broggy only outmuscle him, while Usopp's really a lot faster, more agile, more intelligent, but trickier. He's just really small and not as strong as a giant. Eventually, he's strong enough to actually pull Dory and Broggy down to the ground and begin beating them up. When he's done, he's painting covered in sweat and a little bit of bruises, and a little bit of cuts from falling through trees a few times. Dory and Broggy can admit that they're not stronger than Usopp. So they keep on training. Pause one more time, sorry. But yeah, so the Little Garden bring Chopper by Bedroom Island to say hi to his father and quote-unquote mother, Dr. Rain. Turns out that they got married. Dalton is now their official guard, and Dalton had gotten stronger. Chopper would test out strength by beating the hell out of Dalton without transforming one bit. Chopper learned Kung Fu, Karate, and Kung Fu, and Muay Thai. And his hooves fit pretty well in Muay Thai because he can use his hands instead of using his elbows and knees, which are pretty small. So his hooves work pretty well with Muay Thai, and he's able to beat down Dalton pretty well. And here and Dr. Reno like, okay, Luffy's saying, did you turn Chopper into a living weapon? It's when Chopper would jump on Luffy's back, saying, you can leave my master alone. And they realize that Chopper got attached to Luffy like a pet, not as a crewmate. And they can tell that Luffy's uncomfortable, so they do know Luffy didn't do it on purpose. They do know that Luffy hasn't treated Chopper like a child, but turned him into a pet. So yeah, but Luffy does have to get Chopper in the habit of saying big bro, not master. So they leave eventually, and Dalton waves goodbye after they spend each time they visit for just having fun. They spend like at least 3 days on, because the 3-day party they had on Crucial. The first time that's when they're on tradition, 3 days at least. Well, that's what they spent like 4 or 5 days there just to clear out every Baroque works, and then 2 days to party. And at least 1 day to master Luffy's whole gliding ability, so like a little over a week. Yeah, my lip, man, it's bleeding. But yeah, now they leave. Next stop will actually probably be no, I forgot the arcs in order for some reason. Okay, so they did Jaya. First thing after the giant sea turtle thing, Luffy, Zoro, Hanji swim down to collect the wreckage. Usopp sort through it, finding everything that's useful, same with Nagari. And now they have 2 handymen on the crew, being Usopp and Nagari. Usopp's kind of a jack. No, Usopp, I mean, Luffy's a jack of all trades. But now they do find Shoujo, and they should kind of do him, feeding him, letting him get a bath, letting him cool down for everything, just being overall nice to him. So they should drop off. Well, the first person they meet when they get to Jaya is actually going to be Cricket and Shoujo. Well, no, they meet Mashira, not Shoujo. The first person they meet being Cricket and Shoujo, not Mashira. Messed up their names. So Mashira and Mashira. They pick up Mashira, and they meet Cricket and Shoujo first. As they meet them, Shoujo immediately thinks it's going to be a fight until he realizes how well taken care of Mashira looks. He looks fresh, everything. And Mashira explains how nice of a crew they are, despite being pirates. And Luffy does say that, well, we're just pirates. And we kind of got in a little altercation with Mashira, but then we just saved him. So, Cricket and Shoujo thank them, and then tell us to come back here when you finish exploring our quote-unquote beautiful island. Luffy had docked the ship near Cricket, and then ran into the village, with his crew following him. And then Luffy looks at Cricket before he fully escapes earshot, and then asks him if they can guard his ship. They agree, and then everyone's able to go through all throughout Jaya, exploring, getting whatever they want. Yeah. Now Chopper has to be someone at all times so he doesn't get stolen. Nami has to be someone at all times in case she loses her temper on someone trying to hit on her. Bellamy controls her temper pretty well. Quina stays by Zoro in case Zoro has to freak out on someone hitting on Quina. Well, they're together at all times regardless, but she stays extra close to him so he doesn't freak out. So yeah. Now, eventually, Luffy does go in the bar with Zoro, because Queen decided to go do her own thing. Luffy and Zoro are drinking in the bar, and then she finds good whiskey. Zoro's 15, so I do not permit underage drinking. I do not permit it at all, but, Zoro being Zoro, he probably drank at that age. But do not drink underage, unless your state is like a low drinking age. Just do your country requirement of drinking. So yeah, now Luffy and Zoro finding this good whiskey still do encounter a very let's up the age of Bellamy's crew. So I want this altercation to happen differently. So an older Bellamy crew walks in, an older version of Bellamy's crew walks in. They see the same age as they would be in canon just earlier, and Bellamy still is messing with them. But now when he tries to slam Luffy's head through the table, his head wouldn't budge an inch. Luffy turns his head around and punches Bellamy in the face, but lightly, but just to pack a punch. Like, Luffy holding back all the strength is still Luffy being punched by probably the world's strongest man. That's Luffy holding back all he can, and then Luffy's fully held back punch is like the equivalent of being punched by our current world's strongest man. So yeah, but Bellamy still punched in the face and fighting back a bit, and notices his jaw's broken. Then Zoro looks at Luffy, saying, "Should you have held back that much?" Luffy says, probably trying to hold back a little less. Not a little less, a little more, but it's kind of hard. Bellamy's out the boomerang, swings the boomerang at Zoro, not throwing it, but swinging it. And Zoro blocks it, catching it between two fingers. Well, then Blocky catches it with two fingers, and then pulls it away from him, saying, "Be careful, we're in a small building." And Bellamy's crew starts realizing, well, they're facing monsters. Not a normal crew, monsters. And unknown to the Strats, they have a bounty now. Bounty they have gotten, and it's actually just from beating up. Well, first they beat up Crocodile, and then Crocodile reported it to the Marines. But they already beat up Smoker and his crew, and the full bounty, well, the Smoker and his Marines. Full report actually being full bounty being, let's say, 200 total million berries, 200 million. So they have that, not 200, 150 million. That's Luffy's bounty himself, Luffy himself. And then Luffy himself being 150, this leads to his right-hand man, or right-hand woman, being Bellamy, at, let's say, exactly 90 million. 90 million for Bellamy. Zoro behind her at 70 million. Then we have Kuina at 68 million. So those are ones with bounties. Let me put that together. So the crew in total has a 340 million berry bounty, which would basically be like $242,000 currently. And then we would do euro, which would be 296,000 euro. And peso, 69 million. Peso one, I kind of already guessed. Then I confirmed it. But yeah, so 200,000, like there's two of them that are in the 100,000 range, and then one of them in the millions, tens of millions at that. Okay, so pretty high bounty. And one of Bellamy's crew members immediately recognized Luffy as the one with 150 million berries, while Bellamy is at 55 million. So Bellamy immediately backs off, and Luffy can tell Bellamy is not a quote-unquote captain, just an acting one. Until Bellamy asks Bellamy who he works for. Bellamy goes to punch Luffy in the face, but Luffy tanks it, saying, "It's not going to work. Look at your fingers." Bellamy has two broken fingers. Luffy moves his head a bit, so only two fingers are broken. And Luffy understands to break the rest of Bellamy's remaining 8 fingers, unless Bellamy just told him what he wanted. And Bellamy then says, "A warlord, that's all I'll tell you." Luffy chuckles, saying, "Oh, a big shot. This can be fun." But he kicks Bellamy in the face, knocking him out. And Luffy then tells Zoro, "Let's go." But first off, Luffy buys every single bottle of whiskey this guy has. Goes outside, saying Teach. As Luffy and Teach still have the... Teach wouldn't be here right now. Teach didn't betray the crew yet. I was getting ahead of myself. Sorry. I was getting ahead of the time. And myself. But Luffy buys all the whiskey, puts it on the ship. And then he continues to talk to Cricket, Mashira, and Shoujo. They hear about Skypia from Cricket, as he they got the map, and then Cricket confirms it. And then tells him about the gold in the water. Which leads to Luffy looking at Nagari, who says, "Don't ask me, I'm too old." Luffy then sighs, looking at Zoro and Sanji. Sanji then says, "Sure, why not?" They then jump in the water, and they begin diving, looking for all the gold. Luffy's breath length actually insanely long, as he can hold his breath for around, I'll give him an insane amount, without an oxygen tank, being 30 minutes. So he spends the whole time down there, gathering all the gold he can, and brings it up, throwing it onto the land. And he brought up over 10 billion berries worth of gold. And actually just random valuable items he found in sea animals. Like clams, like pearls, that kind of stuff. All that stuff. Like random valuables he was able to swim out and find. So he goes back up to, Cricket's amazed. And Cricket offers them half of it. Luffy accepts, puts on the boat. Nami and Bellamy are in love with it. And yeah. Now, as everyone comes back, Nami has a little bit of blood in her knuckles though, but first she admires the large amount of gold she has. And I kind of want to go over everyone's attire, to be honest. Kuina kind of just wears like a basic kimono. Remember what Robin wears in Wano? That's kind of what Kuina wears. Just that exact outfit. Her outfit will change in Wano most definitely, but that's what she wears for now. Nami just wears what she wears post time skip minus the bra. Belmere has a little more control over what Nami wears because she still is Nami's guardian. So Luffy's 19, which make Nami, I think, yeah, that'd make Nami 14. 14, 15. So Belmere would not let Nami walk out wearing a bra. But Nami more or less just wears like a shirt that does reveal at least a little bit of her stomach. So yeah. And then, so Nami has just a basic shirt. Actually, let's say she wears her outfit. That's weird. She wears pre-time skip. That works better. So pre-time skip. Pre-time skip outfit for Nami. Just her hair's a little bit longer. Belmere just wears the basic, she wears a leather jacket. She wears a crop top in this one. And she has pants, just normal pants, thin boots. And her hair is still dyed that bright color of orange, but still orange and blue mixed. And her hair is still shaved on one side and then flipped to the other. Then Chopper just wears his normal outfit, but Luffy does have him wear a little tank top because Luffy also wears a tank top. It's not little, but it's a tank top. Nagari wears. Zoro wears what he does. He does post time skip. Just he wears it more open, and he has his normal pants on and everything. Sanji mainly wears what Zeph wears, minus the chef's hat. That's kind of what he wears. Minus the wooden leg that Luffy made Zeph. What do you mean he wears that? And then we would have Usopp, who wears what he does post time skip, minus all the facial hair, not all but the facial hair, minus that, and minus the pop greens. Yeah, so mainly everyone has the different attire. Robin's attire is different in the fact that it's what was the thing for Robin? Oh yeah, she wears what she does. That's post time skip as well. Just Luffy because of Usopp and Sanji. And a little bit of himself, as Robin wears it up, because, well, Usopp's 13. But yeah. So Cricket, and then keep talking, and then Cricket reveals Skypiea in the knock-up stream, and Luffy decides that they should go for it. But they have to wait a while, and by the time when it does come, they're ready for it. They already found the bird, and Luffy got along with the bird pretty well, so Chopper. And they shot up in the sky, via knock-up stream, and when it comes to the gold, Luffy was already able to travel somewhere and convert it all to money, like berries. So he pays it, and Robin is able to convert it into X total, realizing Luffy paid 1 million over, which she's like, oh, he's showing off his money. She just accepts it as Luffy says, that's your tip. She says, oh. And then, yeah, she lets him through. This kind of doesn't alert an L. So at this point, it's like, so. I have to think about this, sorry. Alright, I'm pause real quick. Okay, so it's in there shot in the sky. It's around 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. So 4 years before current time. At this point, that'd be Enel being 2 years into his rule over Skypiea. And Enel, I assume, would still be perfecting his observation hockey. And they don't meet that little girl that already had observation. Yeah, so Luffy would begin just exploring Skypiea. They still meet, what was that girl's name? I have to figure it out. Oh, she meets Konis and Pagaya. Luffy meets Konis and Pagaya. Pagaya is Konis' father. When he meets them both, they get along pretty well. And Luffy would like the rundown of Skypiea. As he gets it, Luffy's like, oh, cool, this place has a god system. He asks about the current god system. Cool, is he bad? And Konis says that she can at least speak bad about him or else she'll be killed. Luffy looks at Nagari as when Nagari begins armament hockeying up his body, saying, speak it, I'll help. So, she begins going over how Nell's a horrible person, and immediately, lightning's going to strike. But Nagari jumps right over Konis, being hit by lightning, And this is Operation Hockey protects Konus, just not the house and everyone else in it, but Luffy's able to grab everyone else and escape pretty fast. But yeah, now, and I was a little confused, because the old man was just zapped, and he's completely fine. His clothes are a little singed, and that's it. The house is gone in as well, but everyone's still alive. Just Crocus, I mean. Nagade just had his shirt burned, that's really it. But you can note that Nagade is pretty ripped for an old man. But, after that end, Luffy just looks towards where he sensed Enel from. Luffy's armor hockey is helping him sense things. But he senses it. Luffy then says, "Hey, Straw Hats, what do you say we become gods?" Zoro jumps up, saying, "Sure, why not?" Zoro begins swinging his blades. Suddenly, lightning will strike down on him. Zoro avoids it pretty easily. He's saying, not pretty easily, actually, it was pretty hard, but he moved away like it was nothing, saying, he's trying to kill us. Luffy would nod, saying, "Alright, let's go. Konus, you guys should run." Luffy looks up at the sky, yelling, "Leave them alone. When they want to fight you, we just want to kill you." Well, Konus and her dad don't want to fight you, but Straws want to kill you. And now chuckles, accepting their duel, thinking this is going to be light work. They've been striking down lightning at them, which doesn't end pretty well for Neo, and well, it doesn't end well for Luffy only. He's well everyone else. But Luffy's body is, well, technically it's metal. He conducts lightning, and like he's able to conduct lightning. It's not good for him. Like it hits him and it stays on his body for an extended period of time. It's not good. Like his brain, like well his hands, his feet, like so his spine, his skull, his hands and his feet, and his joint, like his elbows and knees. Those are the metal. Those are not the metal. Those are the C-tone parts of his body. The rest of his body is metal. So that's not going good. So yeah. So as Luffy is continuously strike, Luffy eventually able to run through the forest as fast as he can. As Zoro's kept up with him briefly, but they kept catching behind. While Nagade stayed behind to protect Konus and her dad from lightning, in case Enel violated the contract that they indirectly said. Luffy runs through the forest, actually starting to avoid the lightning now, using his observation hockey to run away. The giant snake, Queen actually just kicks it right in the face, sending it flying through the woods, saying, "Back off!" And they eventually approach they approach Enel and all of his guards. They see a beat-up old man with a beat-up, quote-unquote, unicorn. Luffy realizes it's a Delpher, not an actual unicorn, which does disappoint him, but the old man is about to be stabbed, until Luffy just jumps in the air, grabbing the guy, he's able to stab him, and crush his head. He lands, asking the old man who he is, and the man says his name is Gonfalls. This is horse Pierre. I have to pause real quick, sorry. So Gonfalls reveals he was the god 2 years ago, just he was beaten up by Enel. And then Gonfalls to say that Crocus says that Enel's ability is centered by lightning, and well, centered by Enel's lightning magic. Until Luffy confirms it's not magic. Magic isn't really real as far as he knows, but it's in reality just a devil fruit. And he does say that no fruits are uncommon, but lots of humans have abilities that are greater than this. Gonfalls, or not humans, but land dwellers, or blue sea dwellers. Gonfalls gets that understanding, and it's like, alright, thanks for confirming. And then mentions Pierre, a Delphi user as well then. With nonsense, he can tell because the unicorns still don't exist as far as he knows. Leaves on Pierre, saying, "Give me as close to Enel as you can, and I'll be able to conduct lightning away from you." Luffy can find somebody to conduct it away from Pierre. He agrees to this, and Zoro then says that he'll find some way to get the lightning away from Luffy and Pierre, in case Luffy can't do it. So Luffy agrees to this, and as they're being helped all the way to Enel, Luffy is still being struck at by lightning, and is finding someone to conduct it, as it's being all channeled into one arm. It's being conducted, Luffy is suddenly having it to stay there by just keeping it there by making sure his body is more tensed up by muscle, except for that one arm, revealing more lightning, more metal. So, metal just conducts it all, which is pretty badly burned in Luffy's arm. But as he gets to Enel, Luffy just jets off of Pierre, and Luffy does try to punch Enel, but his punch goes straight through him. Luffy then froze, realizing this is a Logia. And this Logia user happens to not use Sea Stone weapons. So this leads to Enel basically abusing Luffy, left and right, until he's unconscious. He hits the ground, as we start kind of feeling everything into his body, and we realize that the metal in that one arm kind of melting. He's kind of nervous now because he can't move his arm properly anymore. And let me think of some ability that he may be able to get. Ah, cool. These abilities work. So, Luffy would let out a burst of conquerors out of just pure fear. That conquerors would stun Enel, because this is this is power that conquers his. But yeah, so Luffy begins conjuring lightning himself, or trying to just conjure lightning, and Enel hit him with multiple times, and is able to make a bit of yellow electricity come off his arm. This being some of Big Mom's abilities coming from Napoleon at the same time. But hits Enel in the back with this, as if he's able to touch Enel with electricity on electricity. And Luffy's power being better than Enel's means electrocuting Enel, shockingly. Shockingly. When Enel's electrocuted, and with Enel being stunned, Luffy punches him in the face as hard as he can, knocking out Enel. With that, Enel's knocked out, and Luffy then says that Enel doesn't deserve people on Skypiea, they're all nice. As he did me a few of them. Luffy picks up Enel by his leg, jumps in the air as high as possible, and throws him straight through the White Sea, making him drown. As Luffy lands on his feet, he then says that he needs a doctor badly. Chopper asks what's wrong, and Luffy then says, think about it, I was hit by lightning and my bones are metal. Chopper then remembered the volts of electricity that Enel was using on Luffy, and then immediately bluffs up as much as he can, grabbing Luffy, and runs in the village. Until he hits the White Sea, which Zoro picks him up and grabs him, as Zoro was better educated by Kuina and Koshiro in this one, because he spent more time with them, more on knowledge and training at the same time. But Zoro didn't get the full understanding of these questions why Luffy needed a doctor so badly. Chopper then says, the lightning is melting Luffy's bones. And Ultra's had actually heard that, just like they heard Chopper yell that, and the ones with devil fruits were carried, the ones without devil fruits began running carrying devil fruit users. They go in the village as Nagare would request what happened to his grandson, and they say his bones are melting as we speak. So they have to fix up Luffy's arm using metal that they have in Skypiea. So yeah, just pause real quick. Sorry. So they've been doing surgery on Luffy, and they began using bits of gold that Enel had. That wasn't insanely durable, made the metal in his staff. But as they fix up Luffy's body using metal and gold, they also have their own version of Sea Stone. Say that. Again, using it to repair Luffy as well. And the only place that's not being melted are his hand, his feet, and his skull. So yeah. But Chopper, just out of fear actually reinforces these parts of his body, making Luffy more durable than he should be. By the time he's done, Luffy wakes up saying, what the hell happened? And Chopper says that they just reinforced Luffy's body. We chuckle, saying he didn't need that because it's going to make fights boring, but thank you. Chopper says, well, we'd rather die, or have less entertaining fights. Luffy decides, saying, I'd rather die. Chopper just says, you're a mean guy, you know that? Luffy just says, be nice. He picks up Chopper by the horn, puts him on his head. Now they go back to the ship, and then Konosuke and Pagia say goodbye, as Luffy would just pick up a fruit that he had found while walking. He picked up a fruit that he found, and could tell it was a devil fruit, just off instinct. But as he holds it, he just says that, well, goodbye, and he throws this fruit to Gon Falls. Gon Falls will question what this fruit is, and Luffy then says, Enel's power. Everyone that had froze, as Gon Falls and says, would this alter my mindset in any way? Luffy would say, no, not unless you let it go to your head. Gon Falls says, oh, so it's just a matter of my ego. Luffy would nod, and Gon Falls eats it, and Luffy says, stay out of the White Sea, and stay out of the Blue Sea. And then stay away from what my skull's made out of. So that stuff will kill you. Well, not kill you, but the sea will kill you. What my skull's made out of mainly it'll just disable your abilities. Gon Falls nods, and then Luffy and the crew are let down by the expansive squid thing. But as they're falling, Luffy is not really keen on, well, as they're falling from limited height, Luffy isn't keen on letting a ship hit the water like that. So, Luffy then she tells Zoro, Sanji, basically everyone that can be in the water to catch the ship. The non-Delphi users that are physically strongest jump off the ship, and that would basically just be Luffy, Kuina, Zoro, Sanji, and that's really it. Belmir isn't as strong as either of them physically. But the ship lands on their arms, and Luffy's the only one that didn't take damage. Everyone else had these bruised bones or broken arms. But the ship didn't get damaged. So they put it in the water, and then they climb back on board, and Chopper fixes up their bodies. Except for Luffy, because his body is reinforced like hell. Well, if we're wondering about the poneglyph, Robin did read it. They read all the poneglyphs that they would have encountered this far. Now, after Jaya and Saskypia, it'd be Water 7. But I'm going to pause this part here. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment from the part. Goodbye.